Hey everyone, it's Hannah, and today I'm going to teach you how to make these cute beaded stars that can be used as earrings or a cute pendant. So to start with, you're going to need some size 8 seed beads, although for pendants I also use size 10, a beading needle, some thread, beading thread, 2 pairs of chain nose pliers, some scissors, and a small jump ring. So to start with, you are going to thread 5 of the seed beads onto your needle, and then slide them down to the end of the beading thread. The needle I'm using is a size 10 soft touch beading needle, and the beading thread I'm using is Nymo in the colour black. I'm sliding it down close to the end but leaving a bit of a tail, and then tying the 2 ends together and bringing it round so the 5 beads are in a small loop. Make sure the knot is nice and tight. I will then be taking my needle through the first bead. Now we're ready to start threading beads. This is a little complicated, but pay close attention, hopefully I can explain it to you. So you are going to pick up 1 bead and then go through the bead, next bead in the circle, and then pull it through, and then pick up another bead and go through the next bead in the circle, and just continue to do that until you've reached the end of the circle. Feel free to pause the video at any point to catch up. I just didn't want this video to go on for too long. But these stars don't take too long to make anyway, only about 15 minutes, which in bead weaving world is pretty quick. And I cleverly unthreaded my needle there. Bit of a moron. So that's the last bead, and just make sure I'm pulling everything tight so it's nice and snug. And make sure the beads are sitting nicely, and then we're ready to start row 2. See, the star shape is already forming slightly. So then you are taking your needle through the first bead of the second round, and now we're ready to start the third round. So this time you are picking up 2 beads and you're going through the second bead of the second round. You're missing out the bead from the first round, you're only going through the beads in the second round. So 2 beads and thread it through, and then picking up 2 more beads and threading it through the next bead of the second round, and continuing to do that until you're at the end of the round. And so when you're starting the next row, you want to go through the last bead of the second round and the first bead of the third round. And that's what it should look like. And then you're going to pick up 1 bead and go through the next bead of the third round, and you're only going to be going through beads of the third round. So you're picking up a bead and then threading through, and then picking up another bead and threading it through, and like I say, you're only threading through the beads of the third round. Make sure that you are pulling your work nice and tightly, because you don't want it to be all loose. And it's always best to use a thread of similar colour, but I've used a different colour for demonstration purposes. And also I don't have any red Nymo. So when you finish that round, you are going through the last bead of the third round, and then the first bead of the fourth round. And then it should look something a bit like that. And now you're ready for the final round. And on this one you're creating the points, so you're picking up 3 beads and you're going through the next bead of the 4th round. So you're missing out that middle bead, and sometimes beads need a bit of encouragement to make it to a point. Then you're going through the bead of the round before, and then back through the bead of the 4th round. So you're going through bead of the 3rd and the 4th round. 3 more beads, and going through the bead of the 4th round, picking up the bead of the 3rd round, and back through the bead of the 4th round. Like I said, it is a little complicated, but it does make sense, trust me. Now I'm pulling that nice and tight and making it to a nice point. 3 more beads, and just continue to do that the whole way around. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing, and the visual aid is more useful than me trying to explain it. And so on the final one, you go through that last bead, and now you're ready to start tying them off. And there's your completed star. Now you need to make sure that you tie your thread off nice and tightly so it doesn't all come undone and you end up with beads everywhere. I find the best way to do this is just to go through a few of the beads and then looping round a piece of thread that you might have, that you might be able to see. Piece of thread between 2 of the beads, and then you loop the needle through the thread a couple of times, like if you were just finishing off a piece of sewing, and pull it tight, and then go through a couple of beads. Do it again with the looping, tying a knot basically, and then going through another bead to finish it off, and then trimming off the end very, very close to the bead. You don't want it close to the knot though. So you want to try and hide the knots if you can as well. Then once you've trimmed off that end, you need to trim off the tail in the middle. Now you've tied that bit in a knot already, so you just need to just sew the end in basically, and then trim it off again. But you don't need to knot it anymore, because that first knot should be a sufficient knot. And there's your finished bead. So then what you need to do is you need to grab your jump ring and your chain nose pliers, and we're just picking up the jump ring and twisting it open, popping it through one of the beads, and it does fit surprisingly, and then closing it back up. If you want to make your star into earrings, you'll then need to pop a fish hook or earring wire onto it by twisting open the loop at the bottom of it, and obviously then you'll need to make another star. If you want to make a pendant, you are going to need to put another jump ring on top of that one so your pendant sits flat, and then it's just ready to be threaded onto the cord or chain that you like. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, your support is much appreciated. I post a new video on a Thursday and on a Sunday, so please subscribe if you would like to see more, and I shall see you on Sunday for my next video. Bye!